Okay, now let's talk about the trend line in Splunk. In statistics today, moving averages are a very, very important concept. A real world example is in the stock market. So, for example, if you were looking at a specific stock price and then you are looking at trends to see whether it is trending in an upwards direction or trending in a downwards direction over a specified time, you can actually use moving averages to do that. So, maybe you calculate the moving average over the previous 6 hours, the moving average over the next 6 hours, and so on and so forth. You can increase your interval. It could be 24 hours, it could be less, it could just be moving averages over the previous hour and those kind of things. So that is very, very important for you to check these trends. And it's not only about the stock market. You can apply this with a lot of data sources, in different commercial environments. Now, in Splunk, for you to be able to get those moving averages, you use what we call the trend line command. So when you use the trend line command on some field and then providing, as well some parameters or some arguments, and you can actually use that in order to calculate your moving average. Now, what is the syntax of the trend line command in Splunk? So you have trend line, and then you have to provide a trend type, which we're going to see. You provide a period. So the period is the number of intervals over which you are calculating that moving average. So if you are looking at a specific point in time and then your period is 5, for example, you are saying that calculate for me the moving average or calculate the average over the last 5 intervals and give me the value at this point in time. And then you also pass the field that you want to use for that calculation, and then you can rename the field. So this is the basic syntax that you use in Splunk for the trend line command. Here is an example. So here, for example, is saying trend line. It passes our trend type. It passes an interval of 5, and then it passes the field name that is generated from this command here, which we are going to see. Now, what is the meaning of all these values? The first and important thing in Splunk most of the time is that you can always overlay this moving average on a chart. The importance of overlaying, you can actually use that to see when you have issues. Because, for example, if at a certain point in time, you see that there is a value of the field that deviates very much from the moving average, you kind of think that there is a problem. So when you overlay that, it can actually give you an indication to see in your network whether something is actually going on. Now, the trend type here is just really the kind of moving average that you want to use. There are actually 3 of them. There is one that is the simple moving average. That's the one that we're going to focus a lot on here. That is basically just taking those previous 5 or what number of points that we're talking about, add them, and then divide by the total number of points. So that's the basic average calculation that you use in everyday life. Then there is an exponential moving average as well, and then there is a weighted moving average. And then the period, as we said, is the number of intervals over which you want to calculate that moving average. So in this our specific case, if we use the trend line command and calculate the simple moving average over the total failures telco 01, what you see here now is that you have this area chart here, which is your original time chart. And then what you are doing is that you have overlaid the trend line on top of it. So you can now see how the value here of or the count of your failures is actually, trending alongside the moving average. And if there are huge deviations, then you can always find a way to account, explain those and see if it's something that you need to take care of. And then now, in this case, we're using an overlay. So when you just do that, if you just use the time chart and then you use the trend line command, it's going to give you 2 separate charts, because the time chart is, your line chart is going to be there, or the area chart as we have in this case. And then when you calculate the trend, it's just going to add another area chart. So if you want to see it this way that you have it on the screen, then you have to overlay it. We are going to see that in the demonstration. Now, this is where the interesting part comes. This is where you have to pay attention and understand how this all works. So I have this data on a statistics table, and then I'm splitting it by 15 minutes. So you see I have 9 here, 19 hours, 19:15, 19:30, and so on and so forth. Now I'm doing a simple moving average over the last 5 intervals. So my period value is 5. So basically what that says is that at this point, I don't have previous 5 values. At this, I don't have. So the first one is going to start here, because at this point here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm calculating the average of all these values, and that's what is going to be presented here. If I go down to the next one, this one is the average of these 5 here. The third one here is the average of this other 5 here. and so on and so forth. And that's how you're going to see that moving average. That's the reason why when you come to the chart, you're going to see that it doesn't really start at this point, because you need to actually accumulate those 5 periods or those 5 intervals before you can start your trend. Now, demonstration here, we're going to go back to the event gen source type. And then the first thing we're going to do is to use the time chart command to create an area chart that shows the number of failures of partner telco 01 using a sampling interval of 15 minutes over the last 24 hours. And then we're going to go ahead to add a trend line that shows a simple moving average over a period of 5. And then we're going to adjust the period, to values of 3 and 10, then verify the impact on the statistics table and the trend line. And the last thing we're going to do here is that we're going to overlay that trend line on the original chart to view the relationship between both charts. Okay, so we're back to our local instance of Splunk Search and Reporting app. The exercise requires us to pull from the event gen source type. So I'm going to go index equals main, source type equals event gen. And then now it says use the time chart command to create an area chart showing the number of failures for partner telco 01. So the first thing is it talks about partner telco 01. Let's just go to the partner field and narrow our events to partner telco 01 only. And then it also talks of failures. So because we are only looking at failures, remember we saw that we could do that using the call result field. So if you come to call result and just select failures only, then it means that now we are only looking at events that represent failures for partner telco 01. Now we need to use the time chart command to create an area chart of this. So we use time chart, and then it says over a sampling interval of 15 minutes. So we use our span here equals 15 minutes. And then what we're going to do, we do count as, so we can actually call it total failures telco 01. Then, I don't want to see partial data, so I'm going to use this at the end just as an argument. So if you look at the last 24 hours, we run this. So you see that you have that is breaking this by 15 minutes intervals, because that's your span value, 18, 15, 18, 30, and so on. And then it's giving you the count of events for those intervals there. Now, if you go to visualization, this is currently set as column chart. So you see it's a column chart here, but it says that we should use an area chart. So we're just going to go here and pick area chart, and this is what you have. So these are the total failures that you see for this telco 01 partner. This is how it's been varying over the last 24 hours. Now it says that we should add a trend line that shows a simple moving average over a period of 5. So now this is where we use our trend line command. And it says that we should use a simple moving average. So our trend type is SMA, and then the period is 5. And then here we're going to pass the field value. So we are actually doing this on this field, which is a total number of failures over that. And then we can call it trend. So when we run this, what you see now is that it has added a second area chart. So the first area chart is just how the number of failures trends. The second area chart here is actually how the trend moves. So it's basically the moving average of those number of failures. Now, if you come here, it gives you a more proper explanation if you come here and look at just the statistics table, because you see that the first value starts at the 5th data point here, which basically means that is the average of these 5. Because if you don't have these 5, you can't calculate an average. That's why all these are empty. And then if you go down here, is the average of the previous 5. This one is the average of the previous 5, and so on and so forth. And that's why when you go to the visualization, you see that it actually starts here. You see that there is a gap before it starts, because it needs to accumulate those 5 points before it can actually calculate an average, since you provided that as your interval. The other thing we can do, it says that we should adjust the period to values of 3 and 10 just to see what happens. So if we go here and change this period to 3, it's now saying that use only 3 data points in order to calculate that average instead of 5. So you see that it's going to start at the 3rd data point. So you see here clearly that now that we're using 3, you see it starts here. So it's now taking 1, 2, 3, and then it's doing the average. 1, 2, 3, and then it's doing the average. So you only have 2 empty slots here. And if you go back to the visualization, you see that even though it still starts here ahead, it's a little bit closer to the origin because you are using only 3 data points. Now, if you change this to 10 as the exercise requires, then you see that it's going to move further forward because now you're using 10 data points in order to calculate that average. So you see that. So it starts further forward here because it has to accumulate 10 intervals of 15 minutes before it does the first average. And then you see that the chart is moving a little bit further from this one because you are increasing your interval. Now, if you go back here, you see that where the first calculation starts is after you have collected 10 data points and then you do the average. Then this one is the average of this other 10. This one is the average. So just suppose, for example, that this data point here, the average of the previous was 510 and this one was actually like 2000. You say, oh, this one has a huge deviation from the average. So something is definitely going on at this point. So and then if you were to look at that on the visualization as well, you would see. So maybe there's a point here and maybe at some point, one of the actual count of failures is going to be something up here that moves very, very far from the moving average. And then you start thinking that there's a problem. That's how you can use it sometimes in order to look at issues. But importantly, sometimes you can just want to look at trends, like in the case of stock market that we spoke about. Now it says that we should overlay the trend line on the original chart to view the relationship. So the best way typically to see the trend line is to overlay it. When you see it as 2 area charts like this, is not very helpful. But if you were to come here, we already looked at chart overlay. Go to chart overlay, and then you see that there are 2 of them here. If you overlay the trend, you see how the trend shows now. So it's actually overlaid there. And if this is something that you're really interested in monitoring, you can put it on a dashboard. You come every time you want to see how your moving average moves along the number of failures that you're having for that specific partner in this case. And then maybe let's just revert this to 5 and have it use 5 data points in order to calculate that moving average. So this is how you do it. You can also use exponential moving average and weighted moving average, but we're not going to go into the details of that. It's just worth for you understanding that you have 3 types of moving averages.